Hello, everybody. It's me, the enlightened one. We have Craig the Grey here, and welcome to Wrestling with the Paranormal. And I am ready to go. Are you ready to go?
Absolutely ready to go. I'm ready to
So
hammer the truth into this
we're ready to
topic.
hammer the damn truth.
That's right.
Uh,
Truth hammering is going to happen. People better be
yeah,
ready for that.
we don't have any nails, and that's okay. We'll hammer the truth out regardless.
Whenever I speak, I nail it.
Damn straight you do.
That's
Um,
right.
So today we are talking about um, the curse of the Golden Eagle and other haunted cars.
Absolutely. In
Um,
commemoration of the Golden Eagle, I've written my notes today for tonight's show on golden yellow index cards. Look at that. Isn't that fancy?
did you steal those index cards from work?
No, I have a supply of index cards. Okay. Yeah. As every gentleman should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen the movie Christine, have you?
I watched a little bit of a review and a recap on YouTube, but I haven't actually seen it myself. No.
So yeah, the car pretty much comes to life, and it goes around running people over and killing people. And every time it gets damaged, it repairs itself.
Whoa.
But
I did watch. There was one part in one of the videos I watched where they showed how he did that. The director, he crushed the car using hydraulics, and then he just he filmed it, and then he just played it backwards, so it looks like it's actually uncrushing itself. That's pretty
so
cool.
I feel as if the movie Christine is kind of based on this car in a way. The legacy of this car actually goes further than the movie Christine, because the movie Christine was in the 80s. But the legacy of this, the curse of the Golden Eagle, it goes back like to recent times in the last like 10, 15 years.
But it starts
Even
way
now.
back in the. But it starts in the 60s, right?
Yeah. So the car is, what's the car? It is
It's a Dodge 330.
So this car was made to be like an affordable family luxury car. And
They screwed up.
yeah, and the problem is it was too expensive for the average person.
So here's the lesson here, okay? If you're going to make an affordable family car, don't make it expensive. Doesn't that just make sense?
Right? It has to be affordable. So it ended up being that a lot of these cars that they made ended up getting sold to the police and to municipalities, like at a kind of a deal. And so it started out as a police car because it could hold lots of people, and sometimes to a crime scene or whatever, you could fit like 8 police in that car. And so let's start out with this. It's the legacy of this curse. This car killed over 14 people.
Woo!
14. It might be more. It might be a little less, but that's the claim. Is 14. So there was this picture that had 3 officers that had ridden in the car together.
Yeah.
And one by one, they all committed murder-suicide with their families. You know,
But did all of them? I thought only one of them killed.
no, it ended up. Another report said all 3 of them did murder-suicide.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah.
And so you could like think that like maybe one did it, maybe someone else died by another means, but the one report says all 3 died of murder-suicide. So that's some crazy juju in that car.
Yeah.
So the odd thing about this is after the police had it, it became owned by the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
And so they actually reported it as very, very, very helpful.
Yeah, they even said it was blessed instead of being cursed.
Maybe I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
there's a when the fire department had it, so the fire department has it after the police have it. They rescue people using it. There's one report of rescuing. It saves a 10-year-old girl from dying. So I guess they rushed her to the hospital after a fire or something. Right?
So you're saying the car had a face turn like in wrestling?
I think so. This is the car's good period. This is the car's like being a good guy.
Be a good guy. I'm gonna make the fans like me.
Maybe it really hates police, but it always wanted to be in the fire department.
No, I always wanted to be a fire truck.
Like,
no, it really wanted to be a fire truck, and it got to live its legacy. And then after he lost his job at the fire department, he got pissed.
So it gets even worse. Gets even more
yeah,
mad.
because he always wanted to be a fire truck, and he was living his dream. And then it all got ripped away from him.
So after the fire, and all of this takes place in. Well, I don't know if it all takes place in Old Orchid Beach, but that's where the
pretty much
police
does. That's where. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, that's where the police department had the car first. And so after the fire department, it gets sold to a doctor. He owns it for 7 years. So the doctor is the one who repaints it a golden color. I guess originally it was gold before the police department got it, and the police department obviously they make it, police colors. He repaints it gold, this is the doctor who has it after the fire department. I guess he's
an older man or whatever.
Yeah, and he paints it golden, and that's when it starts getting the reputation of being the Golden Eagle. But people they still think it's cursed because the fire department stories they get passed on. Everybody remembers that. When the doctor owns it, the car gets struck by lightning twice. That's insane. Now this is going to come back too because this is an interesting detail. This comes back into the story later.
They say lightning doesn't strike twice,
but the car got struck by lightning twice.
But it does pretty much.
You're giving me those eyeballs like there's somebody in the chat. Is there somebody in the chat?
No, I know. I was just looking. Something just popped up on my screen. I had to just get rid of it. So yeah, it got hit by lightning twice. Lightning doesn't strike twice, but I guess So then the Allen family buys the car. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Wendy Allen, yeah.
So Wendy Allen, so she's happy with the car. She's enjoying it until one morning she finds a dead bird on her car.
On the bonnet of the car.
What's a bonnet?
Do you know where the bonnet of the car is?
Is that the roof?
I think it's the hood.
Why don't they just say hood, damn it?
Because big car, I think a big car, it has a bonnet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they also, the next day, they find another rabbit. Or I don't know if it's the next day, but they also find a dead rabbit. And then a dead fox. And so she takes these animals to the vet to find out what killed them. And they died of electrical shock.
Bam! See, I told you the lightning strike was going to come back into the story. Isn't that insane? It's like the car stored the electricity inside of itself somehow.
That is interesting.
That's a theory here for you. I'm jumping ahead to theories.
That's a really good theory that you just
9 minutes into the episode, I'm into theories already, okay?
That is really interesting. So next, what happens?
All right, so this is where things get a little bit crazy. Not only does the car targeting small animals, okay? So her friend, Letta Bryant, is actually the wife of a clergyman. Okay, I think that's going to come back into the story later too. So she's driving with her friend Letta. Okay, they're driving down the highway for no reason. Okay, they're just driving along. All of a sudden, the passenger side door opens wide while they're driving. Okay, Letta is freaking out.
I'd freak out.
Why would the door open for no reason? All of a sudden, the seatbelt starts coming off. The seatbelt button starts releasing. Okay, the seatbelt. releases. She starts sliding out of the car. Wendy's trying to control the car and help her friend. She slows down. Letta falls out of the car. Doesn't die or anything. Okay, but when Wendy stops the car and goes back on the highway to get her, Letta starts screaming that the car is possessed and that she felt cold fingers on her seatbelt and cold fingers releasing her seatbelt harness. And
so she took the car to the mechanic just to make sure that there wasn't anything going on, and he said that it was fine. Everything seemed there shouldn't be any reason why. So
yeah, but in that case, you don't take it to a mechanic. You got to take it to an exorcist. You know what I mean, right? You're going to the wrong person, right? There's probably nothing mechanically wrong with this car.
So at this point, because I guess she's the friend of was it the wife of the minister? What was it?
A clergyman. I don't know.
So I don't know if
it's detail on that.
I don't know if it's this particular church,
right?
But the church wanted the vehicle destroyed, and one of the I guess I forget his name was Edward something. He ordered a vigilante hit on the car to do some vandalism to it, and it seems that everyone who did vandalism to it ended up in their demise.
Not good.
So I guess the two children were crossing the street and they were hit by other cars.
But in front of her house.
Yeah, in front of her house.
Where the Golden Eagle is parked.
Yeah, and they ended up smashing into, after they were hit by the cars, they ended up smashing into the Golden Eagle, like their bodies flew into it. And then so this I guess one of the church ladies comes and she's like, you need to get rid of that car. You need to get this car out of town. And then so the old lady says, okay, well, at least let us do an exorcism on it. And Wendy Allen, she's like, no, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to do that. And the old lady, I guess she was listening to the news. Wendy was listening to the news a couple days later and heard that the old lady was in a car accident and decapitated. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you tell that story a little bit better?
I don't know exactly what happened. They didn't describe it, but yeah, she was somehow decapitated. But the semi-driver said that the car that the old lady was in sped up before the accident. That's another thing too. I forgot to mention that when she was driving with Letta Bryant, when Wendy tried to put the brakes in the car and stop, it actually sped up. That's interesting.
When Letta was finally out of the car, she's like, "Okay, we'll let you stop now."
Yeah,
you can get her. Go get her again. We'll let you go get her.
Okay, and then so the pastor, like, this has been going on for so long. The townspeople are getting angry. The pastor of the church starts a court battle.
Yeah.
With Wendy to try to get rid of the car. That would be a strange court battle, right? Like, what is his? How does you sue somebody for having a cursed car? Like, your car is cursed. I'm suing you. So
while this is going on, he gets caught and I guess embezzling money from the church, and ends up killing himself
because of the scandal. This is a big scandal.
Yeah, so it's like it's almost like the car is getting even for him for his sins, kind of things. Like,
this car has many ways of killing people.
Yeah, I'm going to tell everyone about your embezzling scams. Get his car phone. Yeah, this is the car. Yeah, we know. he's embezzling shit.
I got a hot tip. Tip about this pastor.
But should we take this as a hot tip from the car? Yeah, we'll see what it leads. Another one is uh, I guess a kid touched the car
Hmm.
in 2008. I don't know how old he was.
No, he touched the car when he was a kid, but then in 2008, he kills 3 members of his family.
He kills his whole family, burns the whole house
Right.
down, including the
Yeah.
dog.
Insane. Yeah.
So is it the car that kind of had that essence pushed onto him?
Well, the car finally. So two church members steal the car when I guess Wendy Allen's not looking. They steal it. They bring it to a crusher. They try to get the car crushed in like a car crusher, and there's a mysterious power outage, and they can't crush the car. Another
Yeah,
thing related to power and electricity, isn't that that's crazy, right? So what they do instead is, and this is finally what happens to the car, is they just end up taking it apart. They just like take it apart instead of because they couldn't crush it.
but that's not the end.
It isn't the end. It's never the end.
No, it's just like the hand reaching out of the grave to get you. So Wendy Allen starts collecting parts for all these parts for the car to put it back together. Like she rescues the car, gets everything, and so now the car is back in driving condition today,
As we speak,
as we speak.
don't go to Maine. It's probably somewhere in Maine.
And she says the one problem it has right now is she'll be on the highway and the doors will fling open.
Why is she still driving this car? What is she? Is she
Okay,
insane?
so she's a witch.
Okay, these are theories. Now you're into
No, she
theory.
is a witch, Wiccan.
She like openly.
Yeah, she's an open Wiccan. That's her.
I didn't do any
Yeah,
any research on her.
Yeah, that's her religion.
Okay.
And I guess like she didn't have any ill things with that car. Nothing bad happened to her.
Right.
Except for, but she also had two other haunted cars
Wow.
that that she took to little shows and everything like that. So it's kind of a case where like this is my cash cow. You leave this alone. Like this is, you know what I mean? Like with some of the other shows we did, like
Maybe does she do that now? Does she give people rides in the car?
I didn't get that far, but she does take the cars to these shows and stuff like that. To some
And
car
shows
shows.
off her haunted cars.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Um,
That's weird.
yeah. So it's a really, really, really interesting case, Wendy Allen, and you know they just kind of went along with it and just kind of embraced the spookiness of the car, and the car's like, you know, like you might be a badass, but you're my badass kind of thing, right? So
Okay, what do you think happened? Is there like an original point where the car becomes haunted? Like something happened when it was in the police department, maybe with those police officers who all killed themselves, right? Like, or do you like it wasn't just randomly created, and all of a sudden there's like an evil car. You know what I mean? Like something must have happened.
I don't know. I think it's something about that town more than the, you know.
Yeah, like there could have been some kind of evil spirit or demon, as you always claim, that
Everyone's
inhabited,
saying it right
and
now.
it gets trapped into the car in some way. Somehow.
Well, if it's a demon, it's not trapped.
It's embodying the car.
Yeah,
It's
making
like it's riding the car, kind of.
well, I think there's something to do with that town. There's something going on there.
Because I don't necessarily think that Wendy Allen like cursed the car. I think she got attracted to the car because it already was cursed. Like
Yeah,
she probably sought it out and
was
tried
into
to
that
buy
weird
it. Like she
spiritual
wanted to
stuff,
buy
too.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
If she's bought two other haunted
but I
cars,
don't
just her
even know
thing.
if it was her who originally bought the car.
Well, she bought it off the doctor
Well,
after.
it said the Allen family,
Oh,
so it
maybe
might have
her
been a
husband.
gift from her dad or something like that. Because you know, she had it for a long time before, you know, she was like the major owner of this vehicle. But I there there's got to be something to do with that town and that area that all this stuff is going down in this town.
A
It's
lot of
not a
suicides, murders.
well, it's not a it, it's sort of a resort town,
Okay.
and it's busy in the summer, but in the winter everything's kind of dead. So it's a
Old Orchid Beach.
old Orchid Beach.
I'll tell you something about Old Orchid Beach. You
You
got
go there at
custom.
nighttime, you best not be going alone.
Putting your seatbelt on won't do you any good, boy. Mm-mm.
Best strap yourself in with a old-fashioned leather belt. Wrap yourself around there 3 or 4 times.
Best just ride a horse if you in Old Orchid Beach. That's what I say.
Yes.
Just might as well ride a horse.
So, do we have any other theories on this?
What? Which? Car, evil car. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely the car because it's the thing in common with all these murders. And
Could she be lying
suicides.
about some of this?
Do you think that she just? Do you think it's her? Or do you think that Wendy Allen is doing it and she's blaming the car?
No, what I'm saying is that some of this has become larger than life,
Potentially, yeah.
and she's telling a bit of a long tale.
A lot of the things are reported by her, actually. Like when
So
Matthew Cushing was the kid who was touching the car or messing with the car, and then he kills his family years later. She was the one who came out and said, "Oh, and when he was a kid, he messed with the Golden Eagle." Right? So it's like she's adding it to this lore of the car, with the legend, you know?
do you remember when we were kids and there'd be that one house that just kind of looked creepy?
The creepiest house.
And then all of a
Right.
sudden, all the kids are like, "That's haunted. That house is haunted."
Yeah.
But really, no, it's not. It's just. And then all of a sudden, it's got this legacy. It's a haunted house, because you guys were creeped out one day looking at it, and you were with your friends.
But then, what if? Okay, so what if a whole town thinks that a house is haunted because it's all decrepit and old looking or whatever, and then since everybody feels that way, wouldn't that be the house that evil spirits would be drawn to?
Well, yeah, because you're almost
Right.
creating this energy around the house by your thoughts and stuff like that.
And then it might attract evil spirits. So it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. Like maybe it's haunted, but maybe it's not haunted. But then maybe it becomes haunted because everybody thinks it's haunted.
Yeah, maybe with the car, that's what happened. Maybe a bit of a freak accident, just a coincidence of all this. Maybe those 3 officers were into something really bad, and they all knew each other's secret, and something that they kind of died with that had nothing to do with the car at all.
Maybe they did something really that they're all really ashamed of.
Yeah,
In the car, you know, like something unspeakable.
well, maybe not even in the car. Just they were working together
Right.
as officers, and they were all friends, and they all were in on the secret, possibly, and led them to this dark place. But do we have any other haunted vehicles that we?
Well, I mean I looked it up. There's not a lot, but the other most famous one that came up was James Dean. James Dean, famous actor, Rebel Without a Cause, from the 1960s, 50s, and 60s era, I think.
Yeah,
And
he's
so
he's the Luke Perry lookalike, right?
exactly. Now this car, he didn't have it for very long, but it's the car that killed him. It's called the Little Bastard. It was a Porsche 550 Spider. If you look at a picture of it, it looks like an old like speed racer, like classic
like
convertible racing car with like a number painted on it, you know. So this is an interesting thing. So he buys the car. He's really excited about the car. He sees his friend, an actor, Alec Guinness, who some might know as the original Obi-Wan from the original Star Wars movies.
Oh,
1977.
cool.
Yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the guy who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to warn you. You better listen.
You think you would listen. So he sees Alec Guinness. Alec Guinness has a weird sensation of the car. Like he just feels it's really sinister. Like when he sees it, it looks sinister to him. And he even warns James Dean. He's like, "You better stay away from that car, or you're going to be dead inside of a week." That's what he told him. Okay, so he warned him.
Yeah, I read that too, and I was like, "Whoa, what?"
That's
that sent a little bit of a chill down my spine when I read that.
Yeah, that's creepy. So now the day that this all happens, or the day that James Dean gets killed in the car, he was actually not even going to originally drive the car because he was taking it to like a racetrack to race it, and he was just going to pull it behind a trailer. You know, he probably didn't want it to get wrecked or anything like that. But his friend convinced him that, you should get practice driving it, and we'll just drive it there, and then then someone else can bring the trailer, behind that or in front of us, I guess. So James Dean agrees to do that. So he wasn't even going to drive it, and maybe if he didn't drive it, maybe he wouldn't have died.
Yeah, I would have been thinking of that week thing.
You'd think.
Oh, wait, Obi-Wan told me in a week. Yeah, I'm not going to drive it.
It's been about a week. It was about a week ago.
Nah,
just go, whatever. So the guy, so James Dean is in the car with his friend. The guy who's driving the trailer in front of them is like pulling it behind another car is Hickman. I didn't get his first name, but he's the stunt coordinator from the film Bullet.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Interesting. Yeah. Another little tidbit. I mean, they're all Hollywood people, they're all hanging out and stuff. Now, as they're driving in the early part of the day, in like the early afternoon, they both get speeding tickets from a police officer. Okay. James Dean was going like 80 something in a 55 mile or something. So he gets a ticket. Then they stop for lunch. Everything's still normal. And then when they're driving in the afternoon, so what happens is the car with the trailers in front of James Dean, it turns, and I guess James Dean was going like 85 miles an hour, and maybe the guy didn't realize how fast he was going, or they were racing each other. I don't know. People don't really know what happened, but he crashes into the trailer. The car goes flying. He's wrecked. James Dean gets rushed to the hospital in an ambulance, dead on arrival. Doesn't even make it to the hospital. The other people, one of the guys was barely even scratched. The other guy, which is weird. Everybody he's driving with. So that car kills James Dean. Now, the story just gets weirder from here.
Let me just say this before you continue.
Yeah.
Any other person, average Joe, you're going to get some tickets. You're going to be slowing down after that because you don't want to get bumped again.
You think so?
Yeah. Like me or you, we don't want to get dinged again, right? So we're going to be driving slower,
more cautious.
But the problem is these Hollywood folks have lots of money. And what does a ticket mean to them?
Yeah.
Not too much. So continue on.
Yeah, no, it's true. Okay, so James Dean dies. I guess the car is kind of like famous for being like the car that killed James Dean. So this guy, George Barris, buys the wrecked Porsche for $2,500. Doesn't seem like a lot of money. Maybe it's a lot of money back.
Well,
in the
back
60s.
then it might have been a little bit.
Yeah, I guess so. But when he has the car transported to his shop, the car slips and breaks the leg of one of the mechanics working. Okay, so this thing is like still cursed.
Yeah.
So he takes it apart, sells the engine to somebody else called Troy McHenry, and then the drive shaft to another guy. And then those parts get put into other cars. The car that the engine got put into, Troy McHenry, crashes into a tree and is killed instantly.
We have a guest on the show today.
Oh, we got a special guest.
We got Fruit Cat on the show.
Your cat's name is Fruit Cat?
That is his Instagram handle. He has 20,000 followers on Instagram.
So more than our paranormal.
Yes.
Okay.
He's more famous than us.
Maybe we'll get a bump if you can post this on, if your cat can post this on the cat's Instagram.
He won't do it.
Yeah.
It hurts his brand. Anyways.
Yeah, so the car with the drivetrain got into an accident. I don't think he died though, but he got into an accident. 2 tires get sold from the Porsche. The 2 tires explode, and the driver who was using them gets run off the road. And then later, this is years later, a George Barkvis, not George Barris. This is a different person, George Barkvis. They have very similar names. I guess he bought the car off the other guy, and he's hauling the wreckage, and he is instantly killed when the Porsche falls off the flatbed and kills him. He's like,
when I originally read that, I thought it was the guy who made the car that fell on, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it was another guy.
Read, like George.
I know, but I mean, people just don't want this car. I guess I don't know who at this point who wants this car. Why are you like, oh, I want this car that keeps killing people who buy it? Like, what are you? What's going on here?
It's a shit show.
And then the final thing that happens to this car is it gets put on a flatbed truck. That truck and the driver go missing, never to be seen again. Nobody knows what happened to the car.
Maybe the people from the church took it to get wrecked.
Isn't it crazy?
We've got a job to do. We have to take care of James Dean's car. They go around doing the Lord's work by wrecking some of these demon cars.
So that one sounds like even the parts, any of the parts that come off of it are like dangerous. So something happened there.
I actually have, let me see in my notes here. I have a couple stories here myself. We have JFK's Lincoln. JFK's Lincoln, the one he was assassinated in. People would see a ghostly figure kind of standing around the car from time to time, and people believe that it was JFK.
Okay. I was thinking maybe the ghost was an accomplice in the assassination, because apparently the bullet was like a magic bullet that like moved, like had multiple trajectories because of the one shooter theory. So maybe the ghost, the bullet hit him once, the ghost stops the bullet, picks it with his fingers and moves it, and then it shoots it another way.
That bastard ghost.
Right.
We also have this weird one. And this is in 2004, the jumping car.
Oh, I did see this one, yeah.
Huh? You saw that one?
I saw this one, yeah.
So the family's sleeping in their home, and all of a sudden they hear their car revving in the driveway. And they go out, and it's jumping up and down like, I don't know, I'm just picturing maybe those low riders that do the jumping, but just
hydraulics,
yeah, but it's actually hopping off the ground.
Whoa.
And I guess the police come, and I guess by then it's kind of settled down, and they go to the car's a Renault. And they go to the dealer, and they say, well, I guess you need a new starter. But that doesn't explain why it's jumping off the ground. I found that was a really odd one, to have a car that's literally jumping.
Ghosts, maybe? Starting the car and then lifting it up and down off the ground.
Well, they said it only happened the one time, I guess.
Yeah, weird.
But I don't know. There's way
maybe in a past life the car was one of those jumping cars.
Maybe it was
just reliving its glory.
It used to be the Dukes of Hazzard car in his past life, and it would do all doing those jumps.
I used to watch that show actually. They welded the doors shut. You could only get in through the windows,
and that's why they were going through the windows. Who knew?
Because if you because when you take those jumps. If you take those jumps, the doors can open sometimes. I guess when you land or something.
Oh,
so then you have to weld the doors. They should have done that to the Golden Eagle.
So we have a little bit of kind of other strange. They're not cars. and they're not. They're not.
They're not haunted. What are you even going to talk about?
Well, let me just say it. In Stockholm, Sweden,
Yeah.
the subway at night has a ghost train.
Oh.
In the subway in Stockholm, Sweden, and if you're lucky to be there at this time when it goes by at certain stations, it'll just like sometimes you're at the SkyTrain or the subway or whatever, and the train just goes by you. Well, this train just goes by
it's screaming and the windows are all on fire.
Well, no, but there's spirits and stuff inside. And there's like no advertising on the train at all.
Whoa.
It's just like different from the other trains. And it goes just straight past your station with just roars by it, right? And I found that one kind of interesting. So
have you ever walked up to those electronic doors with the sensors and they open? Have you ever walked up to one and it doesn't open?
That means you have no soul.
That's from The Simpsons, yeah. But it's happened to me before, and I'm like, what the hell? It happened to me once. It was a grocery store in Manitoba, and I walked up, and it didn't open. And then I thought, okay, maybe it's broken. So I backed up, and I walked up again, and it still didn't open. So then I backed up again, and then another customer came, and it opened. And I was like, what the hell? So then I followed them inside. Yeah. I followed them inside. But it's a really spooky feeling.
Yeah, I don't think you can look at it. It's just malfunction. The other story I have here is a phantom bus. The number 7 bus in England, I guess in London or whatever. And this happened from 1930 to 1990.
Whoa. 60 years.
Oh, sorry, this is a 4. From 1930 to 1940.
Wow.
I thought that was a 9. That's a 4.
10 years.
Yeah. So
they had buses back then.
At 1:15 so this phantom bus actually caused a couple accidents where people died.
Because they thought it was a real bus.
Well, it was coming right on them, head on. Wow. And they swerved off and they got in an accident and their car caught on fire. And some people died, but for these 10 years, on this particular spot, at 1:15 a.m., it appears in this one spot, and there's no buses at this time for any other buses, and it's always at 1:15 a.m., and it drives along the little area there, and then just kind of disappears. And, I don't know why it stopped after 10 years.
That seems like an alternative reality, like the ghost image of an alternate reality, like somehow. Did
the phantom bus just run out of energy after 10 years?
Yeah. There was like
why does not keep it going?
Haven't you ever seen Star Trek? There was a tear in the space-time continuum.
Yeah.
But it's just temporary, and this bus was making it through the tear, and people could see it. I'm telling you, man, multiple universes layered on top of each other. You're going to see things sometimes. That's what's going on here.
Well, it was a sort of like a phantom bus, so it's just
you don't see the perfect image. It's like when you're.
It's like you're seeing part of what's this other reality, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe in the other reality, this bus was discontinued at that time. Like maybe they're like, okay, we're going to extend the route, started at 2 or something.
Yeah.
Or this route is no longer needed at that time of night in the other reality. So that's why after 10 years it stopped. So.
Could be.
Or the portal just kind of died and closed.
Yeah.
So. So those are
chalk that up to other strange stories.
Yeah.
To wrestle with. Wrestle with that when you go to sleep tonight.
Oh yeah, this is totally a bedtime episode.
We're going late here. This is a good.
Well, we people are going to be watching this probably tomorrow as well, because a lot of the people in our wrestling group are from the East, and so it's 9:43 here, but it's 3 hours ahead there. So a lot of people are in
That's
there.
creepy. We should do a show on that. What's up
What?
with that? The time is different for different people. That's paranormal.
There's a SNL skit about that.
I
What's
think
up
it's
with that?
yeah. What's up with that? What's up with that?
that?
What's up with that? Next week, stay tuned. Wrestling with the Paranormal. Time
What's up with that?
changes. Time changes. Time zones. Even sounds like the Bermuda Triangle. Time zones. People
I'm
live
really
in different
hoping-
time zones. That's weird.
Yeah, it's all based on the sun, right? So,
Well, that's one theory.
I
don't
think
know
it's-
if that. I don't know if
think
that's true.
Wait for it. I think it's demons.
Demons are the cause of different time zones. If it wasn't for demons, we would all be in the same time zone.
Oh, don't say that.
Would it really be that difficult to all be in the same time zone?
Yeah, I just think it's based on the sun. So,
But they could have just decided, like, you know what? There's one time, and everybody experiences that time. So, like, 4:00 p.m. for us is actually the middle of the night, but for somebody else, it's actually like, oh no, that's when it's sunny.
I
But
got
for someone else, it's like that's when the sun goes down, and then
It
for
was
somebody
my
else,
birthday
the sun
this
comes up.
week. On I guess yesterday, and on the 22nd, I got wished a happy birthday, and I'm like, well, my birthday's not till tomorrow. And he's like, well, I'm from Australia, mate. It's your damn birthday today. I'm like, no, it's not. It's like I'm not from Australia. So only my time zone matters in my birthday because I wasn't born there.
But
If I was born in Australia,
but your friend was experiencing your birthday before you.
yeah, but it wasn't my birthday because I wasn't from there. If I'm not from Australia, it doesn't count. Like the people in the East were wishing me a happy birthday 3 hours earlier. I'm like, it's not my birthday yet. I'm like, if I wasn't from the East, then it's not going to work. Like I could say if I was born in the East, and they're like, you're getting that would work, right?
It's interesting when you think about it. So, like, Christmas happens for people all around the world. It's constantly Christmas morning is constantly happening for everybody for an entire day.
This is way off topic.
No, this is it. This is the bonus. We should always do a bonus topic. This is the
Our
bonus.
bonus topic is really shitty.
Time
tonight.
zones. Time zones. It's the first bonus topic.
It's
We're
not
gonna do this
paranormal
every
at
week.
all. It's not
We're gonna do this every week. Bonus topics. Yeah.
Bonus topics if we have time.
The lightning round.
Or, as other shows call it, fluff.
Wow. Wow. You said the F word.
Filler.
That's the F word for podcasts. Okay.
Or filler.
This is like start to finish premium content. Okay.
See, look, AFW, all fluff and wrestling.
So we should be getting our t-shirts soon.
Yeah, I showed you the link of one of the guys who bought it. And so we'll be able to do our own modeling pictures, doing the F and bird. I guess that's it for our show. Check us out on fnwrestling.com. You'll be able to get the links to all our social media there.
You can follow Aaron's cat.
You can follow my cat who refuses to put us over on his a real fruit cat on Instagram. I guess that is it for us today.
But don't forget to link and subscribe and keep on wrestling